But also I'm going to that testing, so I need to right now.
Sounds like you'll have to deal with
I mean, it's purely because of me.
No, I'm just like, oh no, you will be affected.
I will be affected, but I did get those tickets for free, so.
Awesome.
Right?
I
Yeah.
don't know, so.
Right? Yeah, might as well. So professional.
In true Winnipeg fashion, I'll give another 5 minutes before we actually begin.
This is going to be broadcast live on our YouTube channel for technical purposes. It technically is running live now, so watch it. I'm also wearing this microphone, so I can't even mutter to myself my own things. If anyone needs to use the washroom who isn't familiar, they're literally right outside these doors. You just can't, your head slightly to the left. There.
Hello, welcome. Hi, come on in. Hello. This is coffee from Moss. But smart. You're smart. To get coffee before you got here. Nice. And the live is going. I know. Just in case. That is
Oh,
yeah, it's streaming live right now to YouTube.
Oh. So, there's 2 people watching. I'm assuming that one of them is me. I really hope one of them is me. I'm just trying to get the link. There was nothing. Yeah, and we're getting a risograph from you know what that is? It's a very special like rice-based meat. And it's like from Prairie, temperature. Hello. Toronto, they have like all these studios that are just built around the risograph. It's not very sort of medium. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, Jen Woodall? Yeah, that's fine. She runs the research program at the Ontario College. Yeah. So. That's, yeah. Yeah, we can do it as like, yeah. Now I'm trying to post the lives to Facebook, like as a YouTube. Because I'm a visual person, and I can do it on the computer, with the computer time and everything. I'm just struggling. Anyway, I'm struggling. I don't know, people just, they just haven't. I do. Oh, Mom. Hello, you did it. Yeah. Have some donuts. Coffee already here. Yeah. I know, it is kind of an extreme amount.
Yeah, I remember you. That's what we've been like, hey, over here. Their owners. I will. It has.
I love your outfit. Oh, thank you. Oh, look at your hand. Plaid hoodie. Mine are covered in cat hair. Which I'm like, oh, look at, oh, no way. Embarrassment.
Yeah, I've been. Oh, yeah. Whatever. That's great. That's great. I am like finishing it this weekend. I'll send you this for that. Thank you for operating the last. Yeah, just like typos. Of course, like I really multiple, and then like two inches. Yeah, Sam already did this on purpose, and then like scripts and story and everything, so like.
Okay, I think I'm gonna get started. Thank you everyone for coming, really appreciate it. Thank you for eating the donuts and for drinking the coffee. That immense vat of coffee that required a strong mammy to bring it up here from Moss. So everyone who came in here with a Moss cup, sorry. Sorry, I should have warned you. Yes, thank you. Welcome to our annual general meeting. Which is like a scary word they use at nonprofits and charitable organizations for the director to come up and be real with everyone about what's going on for transparency's sake. So appreciate you coming. Appreciate if anyone is tuning in, because it is running live on YouTube right now. So when this live stream is off, that's when we can go to the hot goss portion of the meeting. I'm just checking right now to make sure that I can be heard at all. Well, it's frozen. So, okay, I hope that everyone on the stream can hear me. I'm going to be sitting, for this presentation, I'm going to be sitting at the computer. So this is the only time you're going to see me up here. My name is Sam Biko. I'm pretty sure I know most of everyone in this room. I'm the artistic director for Prairie Comics Festival, which is a title that I made up because I answer the emails. Anytime we receive an email from anything at prairiecomics.com, it's usually me. We're working on that, but there are also, I'm going to go through this, I'll talk about all of the organizers who have been here for a massively long time, supporting indie comics in Winnipeg. We're going to be talking today about how PCF 2025 went. We're going to be going over the fun financial portion, and then we're also going to be talking about what's happening for PCF 2026, which we're really excited about. Thank you for coming to the studio space. Some of you are really familiar with it. We're in the Exchange District at 70 Arthur Street. We love it here. It's nice to have an actual hub that we can hang out on. So yeah, I am going to sit down and jump into it. Before I begin, are there any questions, qualifiers, concerns, things that you do want to hear about? No, you just want to hear about comics. Great. Yeah, okay. I'm sure I'm forgetting something here. So I'm gonna go now, the artistic walk to the computer, to have a seat. And I am going to shut the door. Okay. I would also like to acknowledge that we are on the ancestral lands of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji-Cree, and Dene peoples, and the ancestral territory of the Red River Métis Nation, and we receive our water from Shoal Lake 40. And I'm going to be talking a bit about land back principles and how that ties into Prairie Comics Festival and how we hope to improve and expand our Indigenous programming and Indigenous comics and try to encourage more Indigenous artists and create programming that's centered around creating more equal opportunity. And we're going to be talking about how we remove barriers for emerging artists of all backgrounds, but in particular a focus on the financial accessibility of art education in Winnipeg. So here we go. So this is our 10th anniversary, which is bananas. Some of you have been to every single Prairie Comics Festival that we've put on. Thank you so much. It's the reason that we continue to put them on. And sitting in the front row is Nick Burns, who is the poster artist for the first one, the steampunk lady firing off into the sky. And that was the one that started it all in 2016 at the Millennium Library. It was just a one-day event. It took place in the summer. You'll notice on some of these posters, the dates are all, some of them are May, some of them are July, some of them, and we've switched to September. We've kind of been all over the map for various reasons. But anyway, we started at Millennium Library. We crammed 45 artists into the Carol Shields Auditorium. If you've been in there, it is hot. It is small. That is crazy, but we did it. And then across the hall, we had some panels. And it was one day, very chill. But then people were like, more of this, please. Comics in Winnipegs, please. And so we kept having it at Millennium. It turned into a 2-day event. Same thing, Carol Shields, for many years, all the way up until 2019. And then it was the pandemic, so we took 2 years off. So while we've been running the festival for 10 years, we did take 2 years off, but in the background, we were still organizing and working on a structural plan, and we were still doing stuff. Then when we came back in 2022, it was at the West End Cultural Center. We had a couple of really good years there, but it was very obvious that it wasn't meeting the needs for us as an accessibility venue, and it was also, we didn't have a ton, we weren't able to fit as many vendors in there. And we were always competing with wrestling. We were always having to like put it around the dates of wrestling and then come in and oops, we didn't vacuum after wrestling. And then having to, it was like always a scramble. So in 2024, it was a great year. Came back to Millennium Library, took over the whole 3rd floor. It was incredible. And then the city said, we hate libraries, and closed Millennium for Sundays forever now. So that was very heartbreaking because that was kind of not really an end, because we still do a ton of stuff with Winnipeg Public Library, but an end to using Millennium in a meaningful way. I hope that maybe one day we can go back to that. There is an election in October. I just want to tell everyone there's an election in October, and maybe you can tell your counselor to run on a platform that includes libraries. Anyway, and then I'll talk a bit about it. We did branding last year, and then we moved PCF to the Memento Museum. So, boy, it's been a busy 10 years, and we wouldn't have kept doing it unless people kept coming up to us and grabbing us really hard and saying, please don't stop. We really need this. And it's very evident that we do, so we're happy we're still here. These are the folks who are doing everything behind the scenes. I'm here, Niall is here today, Steph is here today in the corner there, Rael is here, Natalie was going to be here, but maybe they'll come later. Scott and Jonathan and Jay couldn't make it, but if you're in our Discord server, you're going to hear from them a lot. Scott runs our mentorship program,
which I'll talk a bit about later, and does a lot of the graphic design, and is one of the OG people. Myself, Nyala, Jay, and Scott we are the folks who've been doing it since the beginning, and we work in comics in some capacity. Everyone on this board works in comics in some way. Comics writing, comics creating, comics criticism, comics pedagogy, comics teaching, animation, which is very comics adjacent and interconnected. We are all people who love comics. We kind of came up through college challenging the narrative in fine arts that comics aren't art. I attended TCAF for the first time, the Toronto Comic Arts Festival in 2010, and like my mind was blown out of the back of my skull. I was like, we need this in Winnipeg. So we've always been striving to platform independent comic artists because we are independent comic artists, and so every decision we make internally is influenced by that quite heavily, and by seeing how conventions are run because we participate in them, and trying to say we don't want to do it that way. We want artists to keep as much profit as they can. We want new artists to know that there is a community here where they can learn from industry professionals. They don't have to move to Toronto or Vancouver or America, to participate in these communities. There is a great one here, and that's kind of continuing to be our goal. And I'm so glad that all of these people are organizers, because this is not a one-person show, although I do like the presentations, and sometimes you'll see me in the media as the mouthpiece. None of this, I cannot stress how any of this cannot be done by one person. It is so many moving pieces, and there's a lot of things that I don't know that are like big blind spots for me, and I need a lot of reassurance, and I need my hand held quite a lot. So thanks for holding my hand so much and continuing to do that, and I appreciate it. What is Prairie Comics Festival? Yeah, I kind of gave a bit of a rundown, but we're a 2-day artist market at our heart. And in addition to the artist market, we also have panel presentations. Last year we had 9 hours of them. They take place alongside the market. You can kind of pop in and out. They're very casual, and they're run by industry professionals talking about their industry experience and basically giving out that information for free in an equitable way, and creating a forum where they can answer any questions. And some of those topics include comic writing, comic pacing, pitching to publishers, working collaboratively, nonfiction comics, romance comics, queer comics, Indigenous comics, and all of the folks speaking have experience in those sectors, and are just really excited to share all that information. The artist market is filled with folks who create their own comics. They're either the writer or the artist. Sometimes they're the colorist, the anthologist, the small press. It's very different from Comic-Con in that you own the IP of the table that you're standing behind. We allow fan art. It just can't predominate the displays or for what artists are offering, because we want to encourage people to make and distribute their own stories and connect with their community. So you won't see tons of fan art, you won't see t-shirt walls, you won't see celebrity voice actors. We're very focused on the artist. We've had anywhere from 45 artists to 95 artists. They come from all over Canada and the US. Last year, 51% came from out of town, which is great. It's amazing. One of the main reasons for that is our table costs are highly subsidized. We try to keep them between $50 to $75. We raised them a little bit this year, and I'll talk about why. It's mostly just furniture rental fees. But we try to keep them low, and we try to create opportunities for like a hotel block, and just make it easy and accessible for folks to come here, not have to spend a ton of money on travel and on the table costs, and they can just relax and be at the festival. And also, Winnipeg gets to benefit from that. Winnipeg gets to meet all of these artists who otherwise would not have a reason for coming here. And maybe not necessarily a reason, but maybe it just isn't financially feasible because we're in the middle of the country and it's tough to get here. It's costly. So we try to give as much support as possible. We pay panelists. We pay them in accordance to CARPAC fees, which is $150 an hour. We also make sure that their tables are covered by volunteers, so they're not just abandoning their stuff. We also have the zine, which I'll talk about. That's another payment opportunity for folks. We have a lot of programs that make it good for folks to come. So that's the main event. We are also an arts organization, and I'll talk more about this, but we are a charitable, not-for-profit arts organization, artist run. So if you donate to the organization now, you will get a tax receipt. Woohoo! Thanks, government. And all of the money we earn just goes back into running things. And we run a lot of things all year round. You'd think running the festival would be enough, but no. It also seems like we're sort of informally running comic school, which is also a big thing that we want to do. We want to run as many programs as possible for kids, teens, and adults. Again, led by local professionals, skill building, and again, kind of show that this can be a career for everyone of every level. So our 2025 recap took place September 6th to 7th, or sorry, 5th, was it 6th to 7th? I feel like those were the dates. At the Manitoba Museum, it was our first time. If any of you have been to the Manitoba Museum lately, you will know it is under construction to the teeth. And it was no exception that year. We had it in Alloway Hall, which is, it's like that giant auditorium that's right beside when you're entering into the museum. It's a huge space. It was really, they were so nice, like the people who we worked with, very, very kind, so excited. Unfortunately, all of the main entrances were sealed off and no amount of signage was helpful. So we're going to be improving on that this year. And that led to like fewer attendees than we would have liked. But otherwise, from our feedback forums from vendors and from attendees, people were always so excited to come and to see that we're still doing this and to come and meet folks. Panels took place in the auditorium downstairs across from the planetarium. It's a really neat place. They're all recorded, actually. You can go on our YouTube channel, and for people who are watching at home, literally the channel that you're on right now, all of the 2025 panels are up there, and so are the 2024 panels and the 2023 panels. So you can go back a while and you can just sit and watch these panels there. We also had a presentation on French comics from Pow Pow Comics, which was great. And our headliner guests were Jeff Lemire and Jen Woodall. They were amazing. They were so nice. We did an event with them at McNally Robinson as well on Saturday night. And then on the Sunday, we had a vendor appreciation night at Martha Street Studio, which is right, like basically a 2-minute walk from the museum. Martha Street Studio is one of our new partners. If you haven't ever been there before, they're a very, very extensively accommodated printmaking studio. It's really wonderful there. You can become a member, and we encourage people who are making zines to go there as well, because they have all the materials and the people there to walk you through the use of their photo lab, their letterpress, printing, everything. They're amazing. Excuse me. This was our panel schedule that I talked briefly about. And then this was the setup that we had in the auditorium. I love this picture because it's the Jeff and Jen panel, and then there's a kid sitting right in the front row and dressed as Sweet Tooth with like real antlers coming out of his hat. It was so cute, and we had a really good time meeting and chatting with Jeff. So yeah, it was wonderfully busy programming slate, and they were all really great topics. And we're going to be doing this again. There may be one more panel than this year because we've changed our hours a little bit, but we'll talk about that in a bit. Again, there's the YouTube channel, there's everything you can watch. It's nice and organized, so head over there. So as I mentioned, we do seminars and workshops year round. This is just a smattering of the graphics that we're used to advertise them. We do a ton of kids programs at libraries across the city. This is a partnership that was really important for us to maintain with the public library, even though we can't have the festival at the library anymore. They are 90-minute programs for one group aged 9 to 12, and then for teens aged 13 to 17. They're always very hands-on. They're they're always meeting everyone where they're at. There isn't an expectation of having a wide, like a huge portfolio or any kind of artistic experience in these classes. They're very accessible for everyone. And they're always so popular. The library is always like, give us some for spring break, give us some for summer. And if we can squeeze it in the fall, we do as well. And they're always full. The max capacity for these are 20, and they fill up really, really fast. And have it down to the science now. The branches all give dates, and they send them through Millennium. And so they are very busy. We also do adult programming, like this one with our board member Jonathan Dick, where he'll do the occasional one that are for more adults who are looking for just insights into a graphic novelist's career and also artistic approach. The pink one is usually our most popular one, Graphic Novel Self-Publishing 101 with Scott Ford. He has been doing it for 5 years now, and it's a 2-hour, very, very in-depth how to self-publish your graphic novel from file setup to production, and we include like printing samples and everything. It's a very tactile, wonderful thing. And then again, we do spring break. We actually have some spring break kids comic workshops now that can be registered for, and I'll talk a bit about those. We also did a book launch in this space for Curb Angels Volume 2, which was great. Unfortunately, I forgot to put some pictures in. Also, I just ran out of space putting pictures of the launch, but this room was like packed. And we did a panel and a presentation, and it was really wonderful. And I really hope we do some more graphic novel book launches because they're just a lot of fun. And then we also did a very meta presentation with Jay Cormack there. It was how to take your artistic skill set and turn it into a workshop. And it was a workshop on workshops. And it was really super wonderful and in-depth. It was also a way for us to try and get more people giving workshops, which I think has had some success in that regard, because the demand for comic workshops is so high in the city and even the surrounding area. We did a couple last year with the Royal Aviation Museum. We did some with the Headingley Recreation Center. And we always get requests from schools. Some of them haven't really panned out because teachers are very busy and very underpaid. But we always got these requests like, kids in my class really like comics. How do we teach them comics? And they come to us because they're like, well, you guys put on a lot of things. And from that, we created a 50-page document. It's the PCF programming guide, and it lists every program we've ever given, the descriptions, the facilitators, the age groups, the materials needed, and some books that maybe the teachers can look at. And it also talks about partnership and payment, because we want to make sure everyone's getting paid for these things. And we have been distributing that document because I just don't have enough hours in the day to be answering these 85 emails being like, we want to do comics, help us. And we want to do more of that. Because again, there is a big community need for these programs. So we're just going to keep doing them all year round. We did Brandzine in the summer, which was really neat. It's something that we wanted to do for many years. We still want to do more events in Westman, in other surrounding towns like Portage and Prairie, in Neepawa, with the Western Manitoba Regional Library Association. We want to do more stuff outside of Winnipeg because the prairies aren't just the city. And it was a lot of fun. We had 23 exhibitors. There were some panels, some workshops. There wasn't a huge attendance. It was during the summer. That might have also made it a little challenging. The location was a little challenging just because it's like sort of in a mall, and every road is a one-way. And but Everyone at the Art Gallery of Southwestern Manitoba are amazing. Allie there did like 99% of the work. I just said, okay, sure, sounds good. They were so involved and great, and this poster by Marissa Mayhew is amazing, and I love it so much. And we do want to do these events again. It simply may not be in the cards for this year just because there's so many things going on, and the dates just might not work out again. But it was a lot of fun, and everyone who came, again, super grateful. We never see anything like this in Brandon, and it just hits you in the heart, where you're just like, I want to help everyone. Comes down to resources. Maybe you might have seen this in the hallway. This is Mike Zaska's Land Back comic. It was a project that we introduced in 2025. Mike received a $1,000 honorarium to create this single-page original interpretation of what our Treaty 1 territory means to him. It's so beautiful. The whole point of the project was to create this conversation and have it be ongoing, and to give the artist full license. So artists own all of the rights to these works. We just give them the honorarium to make them, to cover like a living expense, a working expense for it. They control all the distribution. They can sell it if they want. We don't sell this, we display it. That's pretty much it. And also, we just let artists do whatever they want. I don't give them any other direction except the palette. I say black and white because I'm trying to not give them like a huge brief. I'm trying to just, let them, if we do color in the future, great. It's really up to the artist. And the result is stunning, and this was included in our zine. And yeah, it's just such a handsome print. I just love having it here and the work that we did on that. In December, we did the Merry Krampus Zine Fair. It was the second time that we've done this. It's a holiday kind of mini comic fest. It's 1 day long. It sort of serves as our community's Christmas party because a lot of comic artists don't either have a formal studio, a formal office. A lot of people work from home. It's a chance for those artists to come out, during the holidays, sell their stuff, and also hang out in the studio, get coffee and treats and just see each other within more of a low stress sort of environment. The market part is held in the suite right beside us. It's twice the size of this one. We rent it out for the day. It was really good. It just happened to fall on the first day that it was -40. But I remember it was so hot in that room that we had to open all the windows. And people were sitting in the window because we were dying. But it was nice. Usually having it is contingent on if no one is renting the suite next door formally, and the suite's been vacant for like a decade. So I don't know. I don't see it being rented anytime soon, unless we become filthy rich. An angel investor comes down from the sky and is like, you want to run comic school? Here's $200,000 to cover rent, in that space. And then that could be like the classroom. That's my dream. So anyway, angel investors, if you're listening, please make it happen. We hope to do Merry Krampus again this year. We may take, a year off from it because you saw there's only 8 of us and we're all pretty tired. And by the time this comes around, we're like, oh, another thing. I'm like, oh, another thing, but I promised everyone. But it is fun, and I'm glad that we do it. This is the 2025 zine. We have lots of copies of it if you want to look at it. I'll pass them around to folks. Maybe you already have them. Some people in this room are in it. They already have their copies. So I'll pass it around. It is an initiative that we started. We started it, I think, in 2017. But back then it was mostly just we wanted to make a fun little anthology of comics that people had already made and just throw it together and then print it on the platform called Create Space. Does anyone remember Create Space? That was like Amazon's initial print on demand thing. And we would print some and then we would sell some, and it was like a little time capsule, and it was really informal. It was just challenging to get people, to submit stuff, because it was another form of them having to do work. And then when we came back in 2023 is when we brought it back formally, and it has become, it's a reprint anthology, but it also includes interviews that are conducted by an intern that we bring on via the School of Rhetoric. Is that what it is now? Rhetoric and Communication. Yes, University of Winnipeg. I always forget to say rhetoric, and I always call it something else in grants, and I'll always correct me. And I'm like, why can't I learn? And so the intern comes on for 4 weeks, and they interview the contributors who have agreed to contribute, and then they synthesize it into a nice written form that's very editorialized, crisp, and so you can learn about everyone's background, everyone's experience. Comics are an emergency. That's why you are always going to hear sirens. They are so good. You just have to know. But what's different now about this project is that contributors get paid a page rate. They get paid a reprint fee. I believe it's currently $15 a page for comics up to 5 pages. Yes, so that you can maximally make $75 of an honorarium. We don't keep anyone, we have no rights to anything. It's literally a very temporary, it's just, we're only licensing it for this little thing. And all of the proceeds that are generated from the sale of these, just again, go back into funding PCF and go back into funding, the zine and all of these other things. And it's an official publication credit. It's registered with an ISBN. It appears in libraries. It can be ordered from libraries. It can be used by all of those contributors on that list if they are doing a grant application. It qualifies them, for more money. So we want to keep doing it. This was our biggest one. It's like 132 pages. And what's great about this project is it doesn't cost us anything in production. Friesens prints them for us for free as an in-kind sponsorship, which is great because shipping and printing is the biggest expense when it comes to producing things like this. So and the other thing that we started in January 22nd, 2025 is Comic Coven. It takes place in this very room every single Wednesday night. Stephanie in the corner there has been facilitating most of them for the last while. She's the best. I just want to give a shout out to Stephanie. The whole concept of this is it's a third space. It's free to attend. It's 2 hours on Wednesday, very casual. You come, you sit down, you can work on anything you want. You can work on your homework. You can work on a novel. You can work on a comic pitch. You can work on a grant application. You can work on your Prairie Comics Festival application, and we will give you tips. And that's also the other thing, like Stephanie's here, or I'm here, or anyone else from the board just happens to be here. We are happy to answer any questions about comics careers, about production, about our experiences with certain collaborations, our insights about Kickstarter. So you can kind of come in and just kind of do a drop-in mentorship almost. Lately, we've been putting up prompts to kind of get people going. Most of them are usually a Linda Berry-based prompt to just kind of loosen you up so that you can, come and draw. Because we saw a need for more third spaces, and it was also a way for like comic artists to beat winter doldrums, which are horrible, and continue into March. Lousy March weather. So we're just glad that we can do that for folks. I'm going to go through the financial highlights. So at the bottom, you'll see we are in a deficit. Don't panic. That is what life is like, living on the edge in the charity NPO space. It's always so funny whenever we write a grant, we always have to if we have a surplus, that's also dangerous because why didn't you spend that money you raised that was given to you? And you're like, you have to defend yourself. And then when you're in a deficit, why are you in debt? And so it doesn't matter. If you're successful, you still have to be on your toes. So we received total income from all sources was lower than it was in 2024. We lost a major grant from the Canada Council. A lot of organizations actually did, because that was during a period where the Canada Council compressed the amount of money they were offering. They changed all of their categories, and they changed over their submission portal. So everyone was super late in even getting a response back from them. Typically, you will send in a grant, and then if you get a rejection, you'll at least have like 4 months to like panic fundraise, you know? And we didn't get a response until after the festival was over. And I don't know how many pleading emails I sent being like, the festival is happening like tomorrow. Can I please get a response? And so that was very frustrating. That is the reality when you are in this sector. And also we were in a betwixt and between place for qualifying for things. We don't qualify, or we qualify now for operating grants. So this is the first year we have been able to apply for funding that is multi-year and guaranteed. Every single year, it's just been year to year, and it's mostly project-based, which means you apply for a grant based on one thing to ask them to fund, and you have to be really creative for how you're trying to get those grants, and you're competing with tons and tons of other people. So that was frustrating, and it led us to diversify our income sources and to change our structure. That's why we are now a charity, because now we qualify for a completely different sector of funding. And also we have a fulsome corporate sponsorship strategy this year that we haven't necessarily gone after in previous years, mostly because you need to have some kind of track record of delivery in order for sponsors to want to give you cash. So the annual expenses were about 25 grand. That encompasses like venue rental, studio rental, all the expenses that come with running the festival, production, printing, marketing, promotions, and that's separate from these payouts you see. So honorarium payouts, workshop payouts, zine payouts, and panelist payouts, all that money went to artists. That all went to facilitators, to people doing projects like the poster, the tote bag, anything that we commissioned, the Indigenous Comics Project, the Land Back Project, the zine payouts. That's how much money that we spent just giving to people so that we could put their stuff in the zine. We did panels at Brandzine in addition to PCF, and we paid people over there as well as at PCF. And then we pay people we did about 10 workshops at 90 minutes. So and each workshop was $225. So that's money well spent. That's different from, I had to buy some easels. I had to buy some postcards. Like we consider that to be separate. So considering all of that, the deficit, it's not insurmountable. We've already kind of overcome a chunk of it, mostly from sales from this studio, from donations, from memberships, from really driving the membership program that we have, which enables people to get discounts in the store, discounts at other stores and partners. They get, you get a free zine, you get access to like tons of other materials. For paying $30 a year, you get a little sweet card that you get to carry around in your wallet and be like, oh, PCF member, you're in the club. So we've been working really hard on like leveraging other partnerships and literally applying for every scrap of funding that I see. So here's our income sources here. Exhibitor table fees, they're an income source that just go right into, as soon as people pay their invoices, I pay the venue, so they just go right into enabling everything that occurs. We do some outreach tables at events like with our partners, the Winnipeg Punk Rock Flea Market or at Icon, where we just talk about PCF and we collect donations and we sell zines, and we use those opportunities as much as possible. We have added some fees to our workshops that take place in this studio. We still implement the pay what you can model though. but literally any little bit helps. And the city of Winnipeg, for doing all those library programs I talked about, they do provide us with a subsidy. They treat us like a vendor, which is very kind of them, and they send us a check to cover. So it's like sometimes it's 60%, sometimes it's 100%, because we are providing them with the professionals, with the program, and sending people to libraries. So they treat us like an employee, which is great, and we love libraries. Libraries so good. So they help us out too. So we achieved charitable status, and basically this was very nerve-wracking. It was a 31-page application process, basically pleading your case why you should be tax exempt, because the CRA hates not getting their taxes. And we are registered as an educational organization. They didn't feel that we were more of a community organization. They felt that the education piece was stronger, and I was like, whatever. When they phoned me, I like had a very small heart attack. I was like, are they phoning me to say no? We had to change one of our bylaws. We had to change something with our articles of incorporation, and that had to be fast-tracked with our lawyers in order. They only gave us 60 calendar days to make that change so we could get charitable status. And as soon as they got it in, they gave it to us. So we're very excited. We are now in the charitable status organization registrar, so you can literally look up our name on the CRA site and we are there. This enables us to be qualified at places like the Winnipeg Foundation, the Richardson Foundation, any of these private family foundations. We can access that money. Of course, we have to apply for it. We have to prove that we would be a good bet, that we have a good history, that we have a strong structure, and that we have people overseeing it, and we're not just like collecting the money and going on a trip to Vegas. Well, not Vegas now, I guess going to Clear Lake or something that people do outside of Winnipeg. So oversight is very important. Transparency is very important. We have also applied to more corporate sponsorships. We have a corporate relationship now with Manitoba Hydro, with Assiniboine Credit Union, with the Winnipeg Kinsman Group. They're a new community sponsor of us, which is really great. We have a corporate sponsorship liaison consultant who's been helping us a lot, Alicia Boucher. She was one of our original board members a million years ago, and she works in fundraising charities. We're going to be having a spring fundraiser. It's going to be like a comic social. We're just deciding on the dates and just sort of planning that a little bit. It'll be very chill. It won't be like, and then we're going to do a line dance. And like we're thinking of doing like very like art oriented, like live drawing and come in your pajamas, like, you know, we're going to read books. There's a corner where you can read to raise money. So we're planning on that, and more details will be available hopefully soon. My life since December has just been since November actually, has just been one grant application after another. I think I've submitted $130,000 in applications so far. Don't know when we'll hear back from them. Yes, we'll see. We're doing more professional workshops this year, which is born out of, we were so close to having a relationship with Red River College. Like, it was like 10 months of development and hard work that Raelle and Natalie and Nyala and Jonathan and myself worked really hard on, and in the end it just did not work out. But the positive is that what came out of that is that there was a wholesome course was created. And when I say professional workshops, I mean sort of in the same vein as the Center for Comic Studies in Vermont, that are like 5 to 6 weeks long. They are intensive. There is studio time, there is critique time, and by the end of the program, you have created either a comic, a zine, contributed to an anthology. You have a concrete body of work at the end of it that is more technical, that is more, you know, talking about the principles of comics as a medium, and approaching it that way, like from a more formalized education perspective. one day, hopefully maybe in like 10 years, we will have a certificate program or something, you know, that is like the dream. The reality is so much harder. That would have to be like an entire organization of its own. But I mean, dreaming is kind of what has gotten us to where we are. It's just now being realistic on allocating the resources and the funds to making it happen if it's been a long time priority. So we're going to be doing more professional workshops. And as I mentioned, we do more studio sales. And here we have mostly always relied on people donating books, and then we sell them at a discounted rate. However, we now have accounts with formal accounts with publishers and distributors to purchase new books and sell on the actual bookstore model. So we are hoping to do more of that. We can take special orders. We can order in any book that you want. And having that income has helped greatly, especially when it was like a big shock losing that grant. We had made like $3,000 from studio sales. So we were able to not be completely destitute when all of our bills came to call. Yeah, overall, 2025 was a very busy year. Attendance was down. We had good feedback from all the vendors, and it was our first PCF vendor appreciation reception at Martha Street Studio. That was Martha Street's idea. That was put together by Sean McLaughlin, who did the Letter Peddler press activation at the festival, where Sean custom cut all of these little wood blocks that were designed by artists at PCF. It was like Alex Plant, Scott Ford, Avery Helm. I don't know if, Rael, did you design one? One of those like letter press blocks that Sean was doing. He caught, I think maybe McDuck, Eric, and Ruby maybe also made them, and then he would make postcards. He would make letterpress postcards for free. It was like pay what you can. We paid him an honorarium for that. Then he was like, everyone should come to Martha Street and we should hang out. And we did. And it was so great. Like Sean, he's the gentleman in the glasses in the left corner there, giving a tour to Jen Woodall and Trevor Henderson, came from Toronto to be the best. We did tours of the space and all of the technology and all of the materials that were in there. And then we all sat together and drew and just hung out and drank like bubblies. It was like so chill. This was kind of a step up from, oh, we have to find a restaurant now and we all have to cram in there and hope that there's a table for 35. This was just a way to answer that. We are going to be doing this again this year, but it is going to be on the Saturday night instead, so that Angela at Martha Street can go to bed at a reasonable hour. We had to kick everyone out. Like no one wanted to leave because it was just nice. It was just, you don't get to talk to your fellow vendors when you're working the festival because you're all busy. So this also really disconcerted people. Mike, who did the Land Back comic, he had a drone and he like turned it on and he like took a picture and everyone was like offended that there was a drone in here, not realizing it was just a fellow artist. And he took this picture. I'm glad he did. This was like right before it started on the second day. So yeah, what is new in 2026? We went over this. We have charitable status number. Woohoo! Now we can issue tax receipts, more funding opportunities. We are hoping to actually employ people. I am not employed, and I do this more full time. So we are hoping that will change because we are all volunteering our time. That is one fundamental thing I did not mention when I talked about the board. Everyone's a volunteer. Sometimes board members will do extra things like Scott does the mentorship program and we pay him an honorarium for that because he spends all year mentoring first-timer exhibitors and that's a lot of his time. But we're doing this like for the love of the game, and that's great. But after 10 years, you know, there needs to come a time where we need to hire people, hire committed staff to take that pressure off because we all have full-time jobs on top of doing this. So yes, employed staffing support is hopefully coming in the wake of all of these grants that are being sent, and again, more growth. And to us, that means more comics programs, more, maybe not more market opportunities, just like more targeted ways of getting comics creation skills into people's hands, like young kids, in schools, and in places, again, not just in Winnipeg, more inner city programs. We really want to do more inner city children's programs because they are very high needs. So our main festival, 2026, 10-year anniversary, whoopee! It's taking place the September long weekend. This year, well, it's the same dates sort of as last year. It's just the way the calendar worked out. The times are slightly different. So Saturday will be 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. There will be no McNally Robinson event this year because we are not having headliner guests. That is the big change. We decided, again, in lieu of the deficit and just the transformation of going to charitable status, and we really wanted to focus more on getting more artists into the festival. When we bring in headliner guests, we pay their flight, their hotel, their transportation, we give them a dinner, and we pay them a $2,000 honorarium on top of that. That is about $8,500. That's about as much as we were in deficit for. So that's like, we all looked at our line items and we're like, I think this year, 10 years, we're focusing on vendors. Headliners are great. They're not a need to have. It creates an opportunity for artists who normally wouldn't come here to come. Certainly still believe that, but the same can be said for independent artists and just having more variety. Our market is way more important. So there will be no Saturday night event for the guests. However, that is the night where we'll be doing the come and see Martha Street Studio. We're trying to work out if it could be a block party where we can get a permit to get the city to just close off Martha Street, because it's the size of the building. It's a very small street. And then we'll have barbecues going and chairs outside. And so people can hang out outside and go inside. Maybe we'll have a fire pit, one of those ones that you can just carry around. It's just going to be a hangout and an opportunity for people to see Martha Street Studio, for the out of town artists to see it. And then Sunday, 12 to 5, same hours. We will be having panels scheduled within these hours. That is still TBA. Again, it's going to be at the Manitoba Museum. Construction is petering off there. Very excited. So some of it has been removed. It's great. We had a coffee vendor last year, and that was nice. We're still sort of thinking about bringing that back, mostly because the museum is building their own cafe. That is one of the big parts of this renovation, was a new entryway, a new gift shop, more accessibility in that Rupert Avenue entrance, and this coffee component. So it might be doubling up. It was good to have a coffee vendor in the hall, because then vendors could just go and buy their $3 coffee and then go back to their table. But you will be able to do that just outside of the door of Alloway Hall, hopefully. Dear God, hopefully. We just sent out our vendor acceptances yesterday. We have 125 plus vendors. The reason there's a plus in there is because there are some programs that are contingent on funding that we don't know yet might enable more vendors in. We've kept tables back for those purposes, and I'll talk more about that. There is on-site underground parking here, and we are doing a bike valet this year. We've worked it out with Bike Winnipeg. On that big plaza in front of the planetarium dome, there will be staff, and there will be people parking your bike for you, protecting your bike all day long, so that you don't have to drive there. So you can just ride your bike in. It will be protected all day long, all weekend long. The bike valet is also open to the public. So anyone going those days can come and enjoy this service. If you've ever experienced it, it's really great. It's tents, it's really nice racks. And again, it's fully guarded. So your stuff is not going to get stolen. Freight elevators, public elevators, and again, panels will be on the planetarium floor and live streamed by the Village Idiots. It's Riley Saunders. It's just every time I'm writing a grant and I'm and the Village Idiots are providing this accessibility service. I'm oh, that's their registered name though, so I can't change it. This is the tentative floor plan. It is a bit different slightly from last year in that the islands the first 4 islands there are slightly bigger. And then these 2 islands are moved up more, encroaching in that space where we had sitting area for the public to enjoy coffee and more tables. Those tables will likely be outreach tables. We put aside some tables of that nature. They are provided free to organizations whose values align with us, so that they can spread the word about, what they're doing. One confirmed outreach table is the Prison Libraries Association this year. We usually do one with the Punk Rock Flea Market, and our Sober Families Alliance did one year. Art City did one. So those are put aside for that purpose. This is floor plan of 94 tables, and lots of applicants came in on half tables. And so it may only be 94 tables, but there's still 125 plus artists who will be in this room. We also are still doing our mentorship program, which is an option on our application. If you have never tabled at an event in your life and you want to learn how to do that, it's basically like an artistic business mentorship. When you get into the mentorship program, you get a free half table and you get a year of building up your business stuff, and learning about point of sale systems and merchandising and where to produce your stuff and how to price your stuff, how to get a banner, how big is a banner, how to format it. It's that kind of stuff. So we're excited to do that again as well. This is our poster for 2026. It's so good. It's made by Tito Cormier. It's also going to be in French. Because we really want to really want more French programming too for bande dessinée, and to build those relationships up, because we have had quite a lot of people asking French comics, and we want it to just be more equally accessible. So cool and good. You can actually see all of Cato's pencil sketches for this at our Millennium Library display, which is currently up right now. Here's our list of exhibitors. Woo! I'll give you 3 seconds to memorize it. We have a wait list. We leave applications open for 8 weeks, and still 2 weeks after they close, people are like, "Can I apply?" And we do get people so I've sent out all of these acceptances. Some people drop out during the acceptance period, and then we accommodate them on the wait list. So this will probably change. But again, our priority when we're going through applications is we're looking for, do you make comics? That is very important. Does your portfolio say that you have made comics? You are making, and not formal comics, you self-publish them. Is it 12 pages? Is it 24 pages? Is it 4? Are you making it front and center? Are you making zines? And it has to be very clear in samples you provide, as well as the portfolio that you provide to us. A Tumblr account is not a portfolio. We have been accepting of people's Instagrams because that is the reality now. We used to be very stickler about that. And then we introduced a grading system based on everyone who was weighing in, and 8 was an automatic yes. And even folks who only had a 2 score, they, for the most part, most of them, we did say, yes, you can come in, and there were some contingencies, and we do respond back being this is a reminder, comics must be front and center of your display. While you are totally fine to sell to sell stickers and pins and prints, this is a comic arts festival. That is why you applied. As long as that's demonstrated, and we lay the ground rules about fan art and about not safe for work, 18 plus materials as well. And usually everything, we haven't really had a lot of problems. Everyone is always really wonderful and just happy to be there. But yeah, that's just a little insight in how we kind of adjudicate. We want to get as many people in as possible. We had 133 applications, and we let in 125 exhibitors. So we consider every single application very, very closely. We want to get as many people on that floor as we can, and we also want to make sure that the equal opportunity is there. So if a mentee applied and they don't have a big comics portfolio, they're judged differently because they're coming here saying, I'm going to have my first comic for the half table at this event while I'm participating in the mentorship to get it completed. So, you know, it was like a 4-hour call, I think, where we went over all these. We read them all beforehand, and we all give our notes, and then we do a call where we go over our yes, no, maybes, and we sort of like debate, and it's a lot of fun, and then it reveals a lot of like esoteric, like existential crises. But anyway, congratulations to our exhibitors. It's a lot of fun. Can't wait to see them. We've got a couple of participating publishers. There might be more. Sometimes there are. Half House coming back from Montreal, and High Water is based here. So that's really exciting. We're going to have more panels and activations. That's a picture of my son doing the letter peddler press. He was at PCF for 5 minutes, and he was like, "It's too busy in here. Take me home, Papa." So he did not stay long, but he loved his little postcard. He still has it picked up in his room. His wall is also covered in Rail stickers from PCF 2024. He picked those out and then covered his whole wall in them. And a funny one from Ryan Harvey, the skeleton print. Anyway, he's got a lot of stuff in his room. He's growing up to be comics guy. This is the Millennium Library display that was literally put up this past Wednesday. Was that this Wednesday? What is time? This has been a busy week. And yeah, hey, Sai, there's your thing right there. Yeah, oh, yeah, so good. So these cases are located on the main floor of the Millennium Library as soon as you get through the gulag, and by gulag I mean the security. Don't do it, Sam. Don't do it. As soon as you cut through security at Millennium Library, these wonderful cases are there, and they are filled with materials that were curated by Scott Ford and Natalie Mark. Pretty much all of the work featured in here are by Manitoban comic artists, or it's ephemera that we have collected over the years from just various comics festivals. There's Nick's OG poster that was printed up on foam core for the first festival that we used as a display in the library in 2016. And then those are Kato's sketches for this year's poster. Everything is so formally like printed and beautiful, and it just looks so good. You can see more detailed shots of this on our Instagram. And the librarians were it's so fun doing the installation. And all I did was stand there. I did absolutely nothing. I just fielded questions from random people, from librarians, and just talked about, well, everyone did all the hard work. Nyala installed it as well, and Rael and Kane, and I just blown away by all of this hard work that people have undertaken, most of the time just as a hobby, as a side thing that has bloomed into careers, and it's just so beautiful, and I hope the city enjoys it, and hope the Millennium Library brings more people in there. These are spring break kids programs. We're going to be advertising these more widely this week. They are all free to attend. You just register on the winnipeg.ca/library, and then you go into their programming calendar and you search these up, and you just apply. You just register online. So these are the age 9 to 12 ones. Our St. Boniface one is bilingual, which is great, and it is facilitated bilingual by the librarians there because they speak French. Yeah, again, these are like hands-on. All the materials are provided, and they're like just come and enjoy making comics. And then we're doing some teen ones. Natalie's doing some really cute ones for teens at Real and St. John's. And again, you'll notice these are at libraries. Can I go backwards? Yes, at libraries all over the city. The demand is just really high to get as many as possible. There are 20 branches in the city, and we try to go everywhere and not centralize them. And we also try to prioritize libraries in underserved areas. Although we've done them at like Bill and Helen Norrie in Westwood, and Charleswood in the past, but we wanted to stretch our legs. So there's lots of libraries in the city. This is our upcoming. So again, this is Scott's graphic novel self-publishing. The price may change. It's like 10 or 15 bucks, okay, what you can. We will be doing registrations going forward for adult workshops on our website. We have worked with Eventbrite before, and it just sucks. I just hate it. I hate Eventbrite. So the way we're going to be doing it on our website, it will be through our shop. You just go and you add it to your cart and you buy your registration, and we get that notification. It's done. We just haven't been able to do it because our website also sucks. So we are just we're working on that this year, of redesigning the whole website. That is happening like right now. With my pal Claire Marshall is working on that, so that will be up and running soon. As soon as you see a notification for that on our social media and on the website itself, that will be available to register. It will be in this room. Again, it's really great. It's very tactile. We love it. This was the more, I was literally talking to Rael and Natalie. I have the dates written down somewhere on a piece of paper. So again, this is TBA. It's going to be coming up in the spring, most likely starting in April. We will see, because Natalie and Rael are very busy, and that's great because I'm so glad that they're busy and doing really well. But it's going to be facilitated by both of them. It's basically a Create Comics 101, starting from scratch. Again, that more formalized 6-week. This is the current price that we have. We will have different pricing for folks with financial barriers, and a different price for members as well. But that covers the 6 weeks and covers paying the facilitators and just the obviously the content, as well as just the venue. And then Rael, this was something that was, I did want to talk about it. It's not confirmed yet. We really, really want to do it. It's Indigenous Comics School. So we've applied for a grant for this, and we really hope we get it, because Rael will be teaching it. It will be 5 weeks summer program, sort of in the period that leads right into Prairie Comics Festival. It will be for Indigenous teens, age 13 to 18. It's once weekly. Food, like lunch, snacks, and transit tickets will all be provided. And then participants we have put aside 3 tables at PCF for the 15 participants to exhibit their finished work that is created through this program. This is meeting a need that we have seen time and again, where we really want to hire more Indigenous comic artists. Like, there is work out there. It is a wonderful career right now. There are opportunities, and we want more of them here. We want to give that work to more people here, and the way to do that is to train them from a time, when they're, in that age where they're like, what am I going to do with my life? I kind of am into art, but I don't really have a direction for that. And this is a way to sort of introduce them to the concept of comics as a career. And also to just talk them through the opportunities that exist, because you're not going to see this career at a job fair. We're sort of doing that heavy lifting, where we are creating these programs and having the facilitators who are the most experienced in these communities talking about it and talking through their lived experience, so that we can get more Indigenous comics makers. And we hope to expand this and maybe do it twice a year, etc. But as with everything, it costs money to do it right. We want to pay the facilitators well. We want it to be completely free for all attendees. We want to pay for development. We want to pay for more than one person doing development, and all that stuff. To make it an equitable opportunity on every side, we want to do it right. So I'm hoping to have good news about that. We applied for the funding. Angel investors, if you're listening, send me an email at info@prairiecomics.com if you have some cash you want to offload and you want a big fat tax receipt for it. Please let me know. That's how I talk to funders. That's how I talk to sponsors. Hey, buddy, help us out. No, I promise I'm representing us much nicer. So more projects in the works. My brain is mush, so I'm sure I'm forgetting half of these things. So comic covering continues. Sometimes we are sick and we can't do it. Or sometimes we are just exhausted and can't do it, but we do our best to try and do it every Wednesday in space. Our risograph printer is coming. This is a big thing. It will be its own business. It will be run by Natalie Mark, who is one of our board members. If you are not, I feel like I'm always saying it wrong. Risograph. If you've heard both, okay. It's a very specialized type of printing method with rice-based ink, giant machine that resembles sort of a Xerox office machine, but the drums are very big. It's, there's very limited number of colors. They're very vibrant. If you came to PCF 2025 and you interacted with Jen Woodall, all of her stuff was Riso because she runs the Riso department program at OCAD in Toronto. We actually have some of her zines here on this sewing desk. If you come and look, that are Riso. And I'm just gonna stand up. I'm just gonna get it. Magical Girl Beat Down. Look how vibrant. That's so vibrant. Can you see that, people who are watching? If the camera's still on. Very vibrant. The comics are done like zip tone and like, whoa. So we're going to be able to print those here. I don't know anything about it, okay? I just covet it and buy Riso prints from people when they come to Icon and go, wow, I wish we had something like that. Because in Toronto, they have multiple art studios that just focus on producing risograph because the file setup is very twitchy. You have to, I think I was talking to Natalie about it. You have to run on the computer like Windows 2000 in order to use the software that can communicate with the risograph printers. So they have a computer that's specially for it. It's like its own little setup. So it's going to be here. It's being moved here on the 29th of March. I cannot tell you for sure when it's going to be up and running and available. Natalie does want to do a soft launch in April, so there will be more information about that. But in the meantime, you can come and look at it and be like, yes, like it's a tractor or something, and you're really excited to do the harvest. And there will be an opportunity as well to submit your stuff to do some test prints of it. It will cost money for you to do that, as one would at any other printing place. But we're working on the business plan for that. Natalie is working on the whole business plan for that. So that's very exciting. Branding, like I said, is TBA. We're trying to figure out dates. It's mostly just, a matter of manpower, person power. It's just a lot. It's a lot to do. And it's also a lot to do to get up a community event in a community that you don't live in, because you're not really familiar with the businesses, with the events that take place. We rely heavily on Allie at the Art Gallery, Southwestern Manitoba, for that support. And it also, I don't want to be putting it all on Allie to be doing everything as well. So we've had some conversations and we've got some ideas, but we'll see how things go. The PCF zine is returning. Again, like a lot of the projects I've talked about, we want to do something special for the 10-year zine. So potentially we will be commissioning original comics for it. So it will be an original anthology, not a reprint, which will cost more money. So we have budgeted $250 a page, max 4 pages of original comics. Again, that opportunity is only open to exhibitors who have been accepted. So I have applied for a grant for that, as well as our land back comic and the intern to do the interviews. That's a Winnipeg Arts Council grant. We don't hear back about that until May. So the zine will come back. It will be printed for free for sure. I think this year Friesens is also going to print for free our back issues. So we will have 2023 and 2024 available. Again, in a limited quantity, but they've been long sold out. So we have all the files. So bringing it back will be simple. So we'll see how that goes. as part of their sponsorship this year. We're working that out. So yes, for anything crazy and new that comes up, we're bringing our newsletter back. Not having it for the last while was a function of our website just sucking so hard. And now we have converted our newsletter to ConvertKit, so we're on a different platform. So hopefully the newsletter will come out more regularly. But anyway, that's where you're going to see all of the news that's fit to print. You can sign up for that. They're on our website. You can sign up by hand, the old-fashioned way, on a form that's in the hallway. If you want to be an organizer or a board member, please let me know. Yes, we really appreciate having experience working in arts organizations and also having a general understanding of comics as a medium and indie comics as a separate industry from a comic convention. So just send us an email with a CV and cover letter just explaining. Board positions are, like I said, they're volunteer. You're kind of in the background making the, helping to make the decisions as we move forward and grow. And all insights are welcome so that we aren't in a continuous echo chamber of like the same kind of hand wringing. We need like different hand wringing. And I hope people aren't mad, and I hope people understand that's charities, baby. Yes, and we need all the help we can get. If you don't want to be a board member, but you like really want to help out in some way on some casual basis, or even as a volunteer, also send us an email. That's kind of I'm going to go through this section here really quick because I think I was trying to keep it to an hour. Well, I've been talking for an hour, so we're almost done. So how you can help. This is the come to you hat in hand. We have these handy pledge forms. I printed them out if you're interested, or you can take them home, or you can give them to your rich Nana who really wants to support you in that art thing that you do, but has really no understanding of what it is. You can give this to her, to your comics Nana. We will be doing like a donation drive. We'll be mailing some of these out and have them more available and more formalized. So donations help a lot. We do get them through our website and through our stuff. Like I said, volunteering is very helpful. If you need hours, like for a program at work or something, or if your work has is always looking for volunteer opportunities, you can send them our way. We will sign off on any hours. There's a lot of things listed here. We're looking for folks to carry tables, just get the word out, distribute posters, help out at events. There's a lot of volunteer opportunities. We just talked to our volunteer network about moving the risograph because it's heavy. So we have all these strapping young, well, I'm one of the strapping people, so strapping people who are strong, who can lift a riso up and off the truck twice. So we've asked for volunteers to help, and those are some of the things. Sponsorships. This, again, it may not apply to you, but if you know someone who owns a business and wants to take out an ad in the zine, or you know a business who wants to partner with us in some way, whether that's through an in-kind donation, an in-kind is Reasons Prints Our Zine, that's an in-kind donation. Or if they do want to donate some cash and they want to sponsor a panel, on for example, if a law firm wants to sponsor a panel on IP protection or IP copyright, that's a sponsorship. And then it would pay for those panelists. So we're always looking for new sponsors. If you even just have an idea and you're like, you should reach out to this person, I'll add it to my list and then I will reach out. We have a sponsorship package. It's been updated for 2026. So we can send that out. It details all of those things in a nice handy PDF. It looks really pretty. And we can distribute that to anyone. So if you have a connection, let us know. Donate. Whoa, I'm just really pushing the donations. Spreading the word. This is also just really important. Just liking posts, sharing them. This is so old that it says retweet. back when Twitter was real. Wow, I should really update these slides. I was just so tired. I was like, surely the information that's in there is up to date. We are on Blue Sky though, so follow us there. Even like putting up a poster like in your office, that helps a lot. Any little thing, really, honestly, it helps. It helps so much. Now we're in the question period. That was a lot. You also can like ask it to me in a DM. You don't have to ask it to me in front of everyone, but Kane's got a question.
There's a question to add on to the regional graph.
Yeah.
I'm going to be Natalie's assistant.
Whoa, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
So, I love regional graphs. It was a big thing in the graphic design program at the school art, because if you're familiar with screen printing, it's similar to that. If you're in new colors, it's really awesome for zines and illustrations. But yeah, I will be helping Natalie with the regional graph, and anybody who needs to help with it. Natalie will help me, teaching me the program and stuff. And yeah, computer
Yeah, but like maybe like a little comforting. You're like, this reminds me of a time when things were simpler.
Yeah.
And we all weren't dying, and the computers weren't actively trying to kill us. That's great.
Yeah, it's really great.
Also, Kane, can I say that you're going to be the artist? Okay, Kane is also going to be our land back comic artist this year. Yay! Congratulations, Kane. So super excited to see what you come up with, as long as it's not saying how short I am. Okay? That's a different comic. I really hope you make a comic about that one day, actually. That I would frame it and I'd put it in here. I won't get into that. Kane's the best. So yes, I also, are there any other questions? Yes. Oh, sorry. Oh yeah.
I'm really glad the after party is on Saturday,
Mhm.
because I never attend them, because when you pack up all your stuff, like I live, where I live.
Yeah.
West Thunder. Where do I put my stuff?
Yeah.
So I really appreciate that it's moved to Saturday, because then it's like, I don't have to worry about any of that.
Yeah.
I don't need to worry about,
100%.
Poor dad.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
Yeah. I think you can thank Sean for that, because I just don't think about those things. And then he was like, what about Saturday night? And I was like, you know what? I don't want to have to drive all the way across the city to McNally to do this. And then we didn't have headliners, and we were like, we don't need to do that. So I'm so happy it's on Saturday too. Because also by the time you're on Sunday, you're like, I'm so exhausted. I just want to lay down and die. But we all got to lay down and die together at Martha Street. So we won't have to die yet on Saturday night. And I'm really hoping for the block party thing, because I just think that would be like quintessential Winnipeg. Like, maybe not a tailgate party, but like, like a chill, like just a cooler, and it'll probably be warm anyway. That's great. Good. Thank you. Sorry, Steph was raising her hand wildly.
I was just going to say we have our enamel pin.
Oh yeah.
Anniversary fundraiser.
Yes.
It's going to be pretty and sparkly, and it's coming.
Thank you.
It's in production right now. I followed up with the manufacturer, so it's been 5 weeks or something since I sent in the order, so it's coming. I was hoping it would be here for today. It's the 10th anniversary.
It's the 10th anniversary logo, and it's sparkly.
It's sparkly.
It's sparkly.
So
it's like this big.
It's a hard enamel, black and white. It's that like black nickel plating, and then it's got the rainbow sparkles in it, like the iridescent glitter. I'm excited. It's gonna be not to be like,
hey, and this is the merch that's coming. I also, that's really good point. We will have new merch this year. We will have a new T-shirt designed by, I think Natalie's doing the T-shirt too. Natalie's designing the T-shirt. Jonathan Dick's designing the tote. We have had requests to have the old tote that was done by Eric Hetherington reprinted, so we may do that too if Floodway offers us a deal. I haven't even started looking into that, but we're going to have more of that. We'll have lanyards again featuring Cato's design from the poster. So we're going to have like nice, cool goodies. And again, that helps us immensely with fundraising. Amanda, you had a question?
I was going to ask about sort of advertising and stuff.
bus shelters, yeah.
Posters and stuff like that, are you gonna be doing that again this year?
Yes. We like doing it. I still have to pick up the ones from last year. They have them in their office. They keep them for us. We love doing them because they're great, large format. It's super cool to see them and to like, again, point towards supporting public transit. And then when we get them after, they're printed on this beautiful like vinyl paper. And then keep having them as a keepsake is like really cool. But also they are not super expensive. They're actually one of the most cost-effective ways of doing marketing. Like the poster itself costs $300, and then to have it just up for 4 weeks is $300. So it's like, and then we do 3 of them, and they give us a deal. And so in total, the bus shelters cost about $1,100 for all 3 of them. And they get to be all over the city in different places. And the posters just look so rad in this massive format. If we could do billboards, we would. Digital billboards are actually insanely expensive compared to just the printed billboards. Again, angel investor, if you want to help us out with that. We also have toyed with the idea of doing a large format installation poster on the side of the museum. But that requires city permits. That requires figuring out production of something that massive, and that's like a 30-foot poster or something like that. That would be insane. We looked into it, yeah, and we looked into it last year, but it is just like this is like a full-time job. But the museum is helping us out with some of those things to cost it out. So it would be amazing. I would love to do that, especially it's the 10th year. So we'll see. We'll see. Everything's a we'll see, and if someone wants to take that on, please do. I will oversee it, but it's another thing. But yeah. Any other questions? Let me just quickly check the chat. Do you think anyone is asking us questions in the live? Oh, wrong browser. No one in the chat? Okay. That's fine. Cool. Oh, it's so meta now. I also have been sitting here the whole time, like giving this presentation, and now I'm like, was I in the screen the whole time, like doing this? And like blocking everyone's face? Probably. Okay. So yeah, that is about it. You are welcome to stay in the studio and hang out. We're definitely here until 3 or after 3. We'll just be, tidying up a little bit. But thank you so much for coming. Really appreciate it. If there's anything I said that you wanted clarification on, it's here on this live. You can go back and watch it. And yeah, if you have any questions that came up but you didn't ask them, just send us an email. Let me just get them back into the keynote, y'all. Questions. Certainly I put up the contact info. Yes, info@prairiecomics.com. I will be compiling this presentation into a PDF report, and it will be going on prairiecomics.com. And then you or potential stakeholders can look it up. I love an annual report. I scam on everyone's annual reports because I'm like, how are they doing it? What's their funding like? How do I be them? And that has been, I am not formally trained in arts organizations, NPOs. I have some experience working at NPOs and book publishers, which are essentially an NPO. But everything I'm learning from other organizations like ours who have been very welcoming and very free with information. And I'm very, very grateful to that because, again, it's not my background. And it has enabled us to continue to become what we are now. So that's a shout out to Martha Street Studio, to Art City, to all the members of MARC, the Manitoba Artist Run Center Coalition, which we are a part of, to Exchange Biz. Everyone's been super helpful and supportive. So thank you, everyone. Eat all the donuts, drink the massive vat of coffee, which was purchased. And thank you so much. Yay. And hi everyone on the stream, but also bye. Thanks for tuning in. I'm going to stop the stream now. If I figure out how to do it, oh, it's a button that just says end stream. Yes, I do not want to be live anymore.